What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to talk about Inoue. I love this name, by the way. It reminds me of an anime I used to love to watch, Inuyasha. So Inoue is what this is going to be about. Before I start this video, I want y'all to do me a favor. I'm going to put a link in the description. There's a channel called Boxing Conscience. Check it out. He's only got 10 subs. I randomly came across his channel. His video editing puts mine to shame. And his intro is one of the cleanest I've seen for any boxing channel. So to my UK fans, I believe he's UK based, basing off his accent, go check him out. To my American fans who are right here in the United States like me, go check him out. Give him some subs because he has very nice edited videos, very clean. So off of that, Inoue, almost said Inuyasha. I had to redo my whole pound for pound list because of this man right here. One of my subs actually turned me on to watching him. And I was like, I don't know about watching a bantamweight. I don't really like watching the little guys. But I will tell you, my pound for pound just fucking erupted like a volcano, and it flowed down and the debris is left. And now he is in my top 5. I'll give y'all my top 5 at the end of this. And I might even do a video on pound for pound and why I pick pound for pound, what qualifies somebody to be pound for pound, and how the heavyweights get shitted on in the pound for pound list. But we'll get into that towards the end. Let's get back to Inoue. So I'm going to start off with negatives with this guy, and there's not a lot. There's not a lot. I watched like 7, 8 fights of his total, 6 today, 2 last night, to really get a good indication on how this guy fights. So my first negative about him is he's very hittable at times. And it might be due to his loose guard. What I mean by a loose guard is a tight guard is to the cheeks, could be high, could be lower on the face, could be peekaboo like Mike Tyson. But his guard is kind of loose and his hands are here. And it could be due to the fact that he's always doing his arms like this. If you watch his guard, it's always constantly going up and down. And I'll get to that in just a second with my negatives. But he's very hittable. A lot of jabs and straights do get through that guard. Also, he at times, not often, but he does at times make the mistake of kind of doing a wide hook. And sometimes he kind of jumps with the wide hook, which can be dangerous against another hard hitter like he is, because he can hit. So back to the guard. So the negative I have about constantly doing this is not so much the fact that his guard is constantly raising and lowering. It's the fact that he only throws punches when that guard comes up. So it's kind of a tell. He's, out of all the fights I watched of him, about 7 or 8, I believe it was 8. Yeah, 8, 2 last night, 6 today. Every time I saw him bring his elbows down, he never fired. He was just looking. But every time he brings the guard up, he'll fire off of that. So that to me is a negative because it takes half his tell away. You know he's only going to throw on the up. So that's all you got to watch out for until he switches it up, which he has yet to do. Now, with that being said, he also has very little lateral movement. I don't see him doing a lot of sidestepping early in the fight. Now, I'm also going to come back to this for later on in the positives. But it seems like it takes him a few rounds to actually get his movement into the fight. He's not very elusive at the start of the fight, which is a negative because you saw what happened with Wilder and frickin' Brazil. Brazil just was forward moving, couldn't close the gap, had no head movement. Because he had no head movement, he got caught. So Inoue's got to be careful of that. Now, excuse me, Naoya, said it wrong. Also, another negative he has is a negative that I used to say about Floyd Mayweather, which no fighters ever exposed for some reason. Well, Maidana did it a little bit in the first fight, but he never really worked off of it. So a big negative that I have for Inoue is the fact that when he is pressured and when somebody's unloading combos on him, right, he guards up. He shells up. But when he shells up, it's good that he's always watching. He's always looking. He's looking to block. but he's not doing any parrying. He's doing no body movement, and he's not trying to get out of the way. He just sits there, shells up, eats the punches until the guy gets tired. Then he'll always return with his own combos after the fact. That's a negative. You don't want to just stand there and take punishment, especially if he keeps going up in weight, and these guys are going to get harder and harder hitting as he goes up in weight. Now, that's all my negatives. I only had a bunch of positives with him. My positives were he had a really good jab. His jab was very clean, very precise. In one of the fights that he was fighting, I don't know if this statistic is still the same or it has gone up, but about 5 fights back against Nieves, who he was fighting, they said that he had the second highest landing jab next to Triple G being the first most landing. But the difference with Inoue's jab is he jabs flawless. The type of jab he does is the type of jab that you were taught in the basics from the beginning that you walk into a gym. And I'm going to show y'all what that is the best I can because I get too tall for the camera. So basically with a jab, let me move this chair forward. You're not going to be able to see it, but a jab should be a step. It's a slight step forward, okay? When your lead foot, whether you're traditional or southpaw, when that lead foot touches the canvas, that punch should be there and popping off the target at the same time. Bow, bow. That's all it is. Bow, 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 bow. So he does that. His jabs are amazing. They're beautiful to watch. Not only is his jab beautiful to watch, but his freaking hooks. I was just talking about this on one of my other videos about how the hook is supposed to be almost 90 degrees. All you're doing, I might as well just stay up, but I'll probably sit down again because this chair is going to get in the way. Sorry about that, y'all. Having some technical difficulties. But the hook, when you hook, right? Hook is all through the hips, rotation of the body. You're pivoting. So as you see my body turn, I'm pivoting on my toe. It's raising and I'm pivoting. So I'm here, I'm coming here, right? You can practice your hook just like this, whether it be left hook, right hook. Or if you're switched, it doesn't matter. So you're just pivoting, right? Pivot. When you pivot off your back leg, whether you're traditional or southpaw, you're going to use this thigh. When it touches your other thigh, you pivot no more or you're going to be off balance, and that's how you can get countered and fall, even if it doesn't hurt. So you use your thigh to touch your other thigh, and that stops you. That's your stopping point. Now, he does that too, but what he also does is he keeps that 90 degree. When you see him throw that hook, it's pure body. All he's doing is raising that elbow. So that's it. He's just boom, boom, raising the elbow. Like this dude, I'm amazed that I've never watched him before, and I'm actually saddened. And this is the thing about boxing I'm going to get into real fast, and we'll get back into NAOA. Everybody is a casual. Obviously, I'm a casual because I was a casual to this guy. There are so many different weight divisions in boxing. Nobody can know everything, and nobody can know everything about every boxer. Okay? You got different aspects of boxing too that people like it. Some people keep up with the news. Some people keep up with certain fighters, certain weight divisions. Some people have been in the ring and they have an eye for fighting. So when they break down and analyze things, they see it from a fighter's eyes, so they can tell you how it goes. There's just different. There's very different avenues you can go with boxing. Nobody truly is well versed in everything. Everybody has their flaws, whether it be old school boxing, new school boxing, whether it's knowing how to actually do techniques, forms, and how to fight, throw punches correctly and be able to tell somebody, break down fights, do predictions on fights. Everybody has their lane. Everybody has their avenue, just like in life. You know, a history teacher might not be any good at math. A mathematician might not know any history. So see, there's really no such thing as a casual when it comes to boxing. Everybody's a casual in some avenue, in some aspect. But back to NAOA. So, like I said, the hooks, very good. The combos, he's always looking to set up combos, which is nice. And the thing about his combos are he's just not throwing combos. He's looking to pinpoint where he's going to go. So he's target punching. And when he gets the guy hurt, he aims for that spot and he constantly attacks it, which is another term for target punching. So you have two different terminologies for target punching. Target punching can be aiming for a hurt spot or a cut and constantly popping it, or it can be actually looking where to place your shots and looking for those openings. So whenever you're throwing little pity patters, soft, 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 bow, you throw straight down the pipeline hard when you see that opening. That's what target punching is. Amazing at it. Like I said, setting up combos. He throws multiple punches, gives multiple looks. So he's not just going to stay with the same look and throw the punch the same way and set up the same punch the same way. It always is changing. Like I said earlier in the negative, a negative to this could be sometimes he just throws wildly with the hooks. And he's getting away with it for now, but I fear that when he gets up higher in weight, that could be a negative to him. So we've got to see where he goes with that, if he can clean that up, because that's a very bad negative. But he's still an amazing boxer. Don't let my negatives take away from his greatness, because he is looking great. Let me see. I made little notes that I'm reading. So yes. So like I was saying earlier, he's very stiff at the start of the fight. Now, as the fight progresses and gets deeper into the fight, he starts to loosen up and move around. You see him move a lot more, and that's good, because where he lacks head movement early, he starts to move his head. I even saw him do a little brief Philly shell like Mayweather, which was very nice. What else? Oh, his body work. So I've said this several times whenever I've done my live fights, commentaries. I've said this several times when I've done breakdowns of fights. I've said this several times just talking about fighting in general. People do not body punch anymore. This guy exploits the body. He doesn't just body punch, he exploits the body. He gets knockouts to the body. His body work, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. And that's really how I see him going. I really want to see him get a unification belt or a unification match for all the belts and become undisputed in a weight class. He is a 3 weight class division champion, but he's never been undisputed. And before recently, he's never actually even had a unification fight to become a unified or unanified champion. He's never done that before, besides in bantamweight in his last fight. He's remained the IBO champion all the way up. Let me see here. Trying to think. Okay, as far as him going up in weight, so in his 3rd fight, sorry, I'm gonna look at my notes for this because I wrote down notes on him as I was very ignorant to him. So it took him 4 fights to win his 1st belt. That's it. Kind of like a Lomachenko. He only needed 4 fights to get his 1st belt. After his 1st belt, he got his 2nd belt in his 5th fight and won his 3rd belt in his 6th fight. So if you look at this guy's boxing record, his level of opposition has always been better than him. This man has moved up super fast, and he has been dominating. Like, he's been dominating this guy. Currently, he is the WBO and IBF champion in bantamweight. I would like to see him pick up the other 2 main belts, because once he becomes undisputed, then he has a stake at being in my #1 spot for pound. But at the moment, I do not have him #1, but I do have him very high on the list. So if you were to ask me who is my top 5, and like I said, I'm probably going to do a video on pound for pound and break down exactly how I see a pound for pound and why I pick the guys I pick. I have Terrence Crawford #1. The main thing that separates Crawford and Inoue is the fact that Crawford did a unification bout for all 4 belts, the major belts. He became undisputed, unified champion. Then he moved up in weight. That's the issue that you have with people like Lomachenko, who are good, but they only win 1 belt, then they go up. Then they win 1 belt, and they go up. or they'll win 2 belts and then they'll go up. See, me, I would much rather see a fighter do what Crawford did: clear out the division, beat all the champions in that division, so you can be stated that you're the best in that division, move up, and then if you can, clear out the next division. And once you do that, if you can, move up again. That's where you really come into it. So my number one is Crawford. With that being said, my number two, and this is where I say I'm very unbiased when it comes to it, because I do not like watching him fight. I do not like his style of fighting. I just, he's not entertaining to me. He's not beautiful to watch to me. I don't like him as a fighting style fighter. But my number two pound for pound will be Usyk. Once again, another undisputed. He actually went into a tournament and won the tournament to do a unification for all the belts, became the unified champion or unanified, and then won all of them in the final round of the tournament that he made it through and became undisputed. Now he's moving up to heavyweight. He was supposed to fight Takam, but he got injured with, I believe it was a bicep injury. So him and Takam have been delayed for a heavyweight match. But at the moment, I have Usyk as my number two. Now, here's the surprise. Inoue, I have it number three. I have him in number three. I have to, because he has been dominating. He has been knocking out world champions. He has been moving up in weight. And it has not, to me, from the fights I watch, looked like he's run into any adversity or struggles. Like, he's doing this with ease. After Inoue, I have Lomachenko. Slightly touching on Lomachenko. I can never have Lomachenko above Crawford, above Usyk, or above Inoue now, because in my opinion, Lomachenko has lost. Those guys are undefeated. Lomachenko did not just only lose, he lost to a journeyman in Salido. So, in my opinion, that disqualifies him from being up there. My number five, and I know the LDBC gonna get mad if they hear this, is Anthony Joshua, due to quality of opponents and what he's done to those opponents. Having a 95% knockout ratio and fighting world-class fighters, got to put him on the pound for pound. I will say this, before Klitschko got defeated by Tyson Fury, even though he was a heavyweight, he was my number one pound for pound. Heavyweights can be pound for pound. They're just overlooked a lot of times because they can't go up in weight. They're already as big as they can be. And they can't go down in weight because a lot of times, if you go down too much in weight, you end up sapping your body and you're worse than you were than where you began. So you can't. So that's when I'm in my next video that I make about pound for pound, who I pick, why I pick, how I pick. I'll break all that down. But I have Anthony Joshua at number five. And then the rest, I mean, I could tell you my top 10, but it really doesn't matter. It's just the top five. But I was very surprised. Thank you to my sub who told me to look up Naoya. I'm very impressed with him. I'm very glad I did. And I think I'm going to watch more of this kid because he's fighting on DAZN, which I have. So might as well watch him. Thank y'all for watching. And again, check out Boxing Conscious.